Hi, everybody. My name is Nanika Edwards. I am a poet, author, artist, linguist, and educator from Trinidad and Tobago. I'm continuing with my exploration of marriage from a biblical perspective, and today's discussion is entitled Horn Porn. What do I mean by horn porn? 1. Horn, in Trini Creole English or dialect as we say, means to cheat on. In other words, don't be loyal to addiction or potential addiction. Stay far. Give your loyalty to something or someone better, kinder, and cleaner. Don't be loyal to addiction of any kind, but in this case, it's porn, right? And number 2, see porn for what it is, a nasty devil that will destroy you gleefully. So, horn porn, okay? Horn porn. Porn is another common form of fornication that destroys many marriages. But you might say, but that's sexual gratification within marriage. That does not count as fornication. Besides, me and my wife enjoy it together. Well, the person being sexualized in the magazine or movie or online entertainment or strip joint or whatever is not a part of your marriage. And you are essentially creating a threesome, at least, if you indulge in that kind of lust. In many cases, though, where husbands alone enjoy porn, sometimes secretly, they ultimately undermine and wreck the self-esteem and trust of their wives. Am I not pretty enough or sexy enough for my man? I thought I knew him. You know, when they discover that you're looking at porn and never knew that that was something that, floated your boat, they'll be like, I thought I knew him. Also, it's like an addiction, it snowballs. To get a high, so to speak, you start seeking out a stronger, quote unquote, drug. Or in this case, you start seeking out kinkier and more disgusting and degrading and debased sources of arousal. No wife can nor should have to compete with that. By the way, for those husbands who pimp out your wives to social media platforms where people pay for adult entertainment, you are not only allowing every dirty-minded spranger, that is a drug addict who is also a thief, and in this case, obviously, I don't mean a literal drug addict, but I mean somebody who's addicted to porn, like it's a drug. So you are not only allowing every dirty-minded spranger to mentally squeeze, grab, eat, and spit out the fruit of your own garden, but you are also putting your wife on show before perverts and possible predators. If she starts developing debilitating anxiety issues from the very act of jointly prostituting herself and overwhelming paranoia that has her constantly looking over her shoulder, don't be at all surprised. Porn addiction is like any other addiction, and there is compelling reason upon reason why it should be avoided like a mongoose outstepping a snake. If you have a relationship with porn, you may need professional therapy to deal with it in the most decisive manner. If this applies to you, please get help. There's no shame in that. Please get help. A therapist can ably and compassionately guide you towards a new you. And if your first therapist is not the fit that you're looking for, just keep looking until you find somebody who you think can really help you make your journey, make that journey back to who you were, or maybe more to a new you. Remember, therapists are people like anybody else. Not, nobody's perfect, and not every therapist will be a perfect fit. So you may have to shop around in a sense, but try to find somebody who can help you. Make a really genuine effort to find someone who can help you. And again, there's no shame in that. Having a healthy marriage is far better and far more fulfilling than being an empty shell of a person and something less than human. Do you see anything remotely like porn in the animal kingdom? Even if you argue that you have, we all know that that is an anomaly. The only thing the God of the Bible calls us to be a slave to, thing in inverted commas, is Jesus Christ. How dare he? You protest. I would simply respond, being a slave to Christ means being free from every other form of bondage and every form of cruel bondage. And I'd like to share a portion of a poem. It's called Trash Talk. It features in my book, Man Pride Poetry, Horny and Thorny Issues. I think that's what it's called, Horny and Thorny. Yes, I think it's Horny and Thorny Issues. It's available on Amazon. So this is the first stanza of this poem. Trash talk. You can, of course, read the entire poem in the book. Trash talk. Get that trash out of my face. I don't want to see naked ladies peeping through lace. You see one, then you want to see more. Then you start seeing every woman as a whore. For sure. Right? So that's just the first stanza. And I just want to say, in my case, I could say when I was younger, in my younger days, I read things, looked at things, saw things, peeped into things that I really should not have. And I'm talking along the lines of porn, right? And, more out of curiosity because, if there are parents listening to this, if you don't have these kinds of conversations about, as we say, the birds and the bees and so on, about sex and sex education and things like that, a curious young person, and I can promise you, all young people are curious about this, they're gonna probably find information in the wrong places. I know that happened to me. But when I really consciously came to Christ and understood that these things were not pleasing to God, I started deliberately walking away from them. And there's an insect walking on my computer screen here. What to do with this? Anyway, yeah, when I realized that these things were not pleasing to God and that porn is something that God does not approve of. Let's see if I can kill it. Oh, I got it. Okay, with the cup. Yeah. Yes, when I realized that it was something that God does not approve of, I'll tell you what I did. I took some very practical steps. First of all, in my own heart of hearts, I made a commitment not to look at things that I knew God would not be pleased with, whether it's porn, blue movies or, um, those, or those girly, what you call those girly like, I don't want to call a specific name, but those novels that girls like to read, and when you're in high school, because you feel like they answer a lot of your questions about these kinds of things. I stopped reading those books. I remember one ISCF meeting that I went to. One of the ISCF teachers said, ISCF is the Christian group for intervarsity. What is it? Interschool Christian Fellowship. I think that's what it is. But anyway, I remember one of the ISCF teachers saying, and I know some of you would be hiding these books under your beds and sneaking to read them. And I don't know, God must have given her some kind of intel or something. And I mean, after she said that, I stopped reading those books, right? And I say, yeah, God knows what I'm up to. I'm sure I wasn't the only one, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you're the only one or not. Doesn't matter. The important thing is, if God doesn't like it, we walk away from them. So I used to walk into bookstores. And when you walk in, the books, the way they set up the bookstores, the books at that time anyway, decades ago, the books that you first see that kind of in the path of a beeline to the cash register, along that the books along that beeline path would have been the very books I'm telling you about. So I used to deliberately like not even look in that direction, not go near them, not pick up the books, nothing. I literally walked away from those things. And I stopped watching movies with pornographic portions and so on. And also, like when I lived abroad, and if, I remember one time I was at the home of a friend, and, there were a couple people there. They decided to watch a movie. And at one point, there was you know, a blue movie scene that, I hadn't anticipated. And I walked away. I just went into a room by myself and just lay down and tried just did not join in the viewing of that movie. Little things like that. You walk away, right? And the more you walk away, the easier it gets. You just lose your desire to even indulge in those things. So I speak from experience. I know a lot of people think, oh my gosh, Nika's perfect. I don't tell anybody I'm perfect, but people seem to think I'm some kind of saint of saints or something. I know I'm not perfect, and I don't go around trying to tell people that I'm perfect, but I do try to give God my best effort, and maybe in doing that I come across as perfect. I don't know, but I do believe in giving God perfect effort. That will not mean that all of my doings will be perfect, but it does mean that I'll be giving God but I would be giving God what, humanly speaking, is my best. So I don't think we should give God any less than that. So if you're a young person and this is something you struggle with, walk away from the blue movies, walk away from the books, walk away from whatever, even the um those compromising situations where you're alone with somebody in a secluded place, nobody but you like each other. Stay away from temptation and don't put yourself in a position where it's going to be difficult for you to resist some kind of temptation that would make you really hurt God and break his heart. It's not nice to break God's heart. I think if we knew just how God feels when we break his heart, we wouldn't do it. We wouldn't do it. But anyway, this is an encouragement to, if you've never kind of gone down this road, stay far. If you have, or if you're still there, walk away. Just cold turkey. Walk away. Walk away. And if it's difficult for you, you can pray about it. Ask God to help you if you're a believer and a Christian. See a therapist if you need to. But pornography is the kind of thing that can wreck your life and really turn you into some kind of monster. Think about it. Where does pedophilia, where do you think it originates? In some kind of I don't know, some kind of pornographic gratification at some point. So walk away from these things because they never lead to a good place. All right then. So Take good care. I hope that this conversation was useful and helpful. If you enjoyed it, thank you for giving this video a thumbs up. If you would like to get notifications when new content is shared, then please subscribe. And it's the early morning, it's the wee hours of the 8th of June 2024. It is 3 minutes past 4 in the morning. I need to get to bed. But I'm just going to record one more, I think. You might hear some birds in the background, really interesting. They start singing around, I don't know, 3:30, 4 in the morning, which I find really interesting. To me, before they used to start singing at 5 in the morning, so I don't know why it's earlier. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Maybe they're turning up to greet you because we're talking about the birds and the bees. Maybe they're representing for the birds. Anyway, do have a lovely day or night wherever you are. And until the next video.